10 years ago, Pokemon made a mistake. They introduced a pair of supporter cards that both broke the game, and although they did basically the same thing, they were just different enough to cause two separate rifts in time. Maxie's Hidden Ball trick, if it's the last card in your hand, puts any fighting type Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench and then draw 5 cards. This was occasionally used in Standard to put this Gallade with the Premonition ability, which reorders the top 5 cards of your deck, into play without having to evolve, but it was mostly used in Expanded with an Archeops from Noble Victories that could disable your opponent's evolution Pokemon from being played for the rest of the game, starting on turn 1, ultimately getting banned. Archie's Ace in the Hole, its counterpart, is a supporter that, also when it's the last card in your hand, puts a water Pokemon onto your bench and then draws 5 cards. This could be a water type Pokemon of any stage, whether a Primal Kyogre or the main recipient, Blastoise from Boundaries Cross. Deluge is one of the most broken abilities ever, allowing you to attach infinite water energy from your hand to your Pokemon during your turn. This could power up incredibly strong attackers of the time like Keldeo EX, Mewtwo EX, and Wailord EX in a single turn thanks to Archie. Archie's Blastoise won the 2015 Pokemon World Championships and continued to dominate expanded events for years to come after the cards rotated. Why am I mentioning all of this? Well, 8 years later, Pokemon printed Baxcalibur with the Super Cold ability. This ability, however, might as well just be named Deluge, since the rest of the text is identical. They also printed Chien-Pao EX, which had good HP, an ability that searches the deck for 2 water energy once per turn while it's in the active spot, and an attack that can scale up to one-hit KO anything in the game. Safe to say this strategy looks really good, and it was. Chien-Pao Baxcalibur was a top-tier deck, even winning tournaments, and then, suddenly, it disappeared. How did this happen? How could this once tier 1 deck just vanish? You might think this is an exaggeration, but here are Chien-Pao's professional results since the World Championships in 2024. When I say it disappeared, I mean it disappeared. But why? And more importantly, how? That's the topic of today's video, so let's talk about it. I basically just laid out the deck for you, but it is a little more complicated than just those 2 cards. The thing is, the other support cards seemed like they were too good to be true for this style of deck. Chien-Pao's Hail Blade attack discards any number of water energy attached to your Pokemon and does 60 damage for each one discarded. The thing is that in this same set, Paldea Evolved, Superior Energy Retrieval was reprinted, another card from the Deluge Blastoise era, which discards 2 cards from your hand and puts up to 4 basic energy from the discard pile into your hand. In this set was also Super Rod, which could shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy into the deck. This not only provides incredible Pokemon recovery for a deck playing evolution Pokemon like Chien-Pao, but this also synergizes incredibly well with Shivery Chill, Chien-Pao's ability, since you can Super Rod 2 energy in, and if Chien-Pao's in the active, you can immediately search them out with the Ice Dog and attach them with Baxcalibur. The other support cards that already existed though were unbelievably synergistic. Radiant Greninja was basically made for the deck. Concealed cards, which provides great draw power, discarding an energy and drawing 2, all the while threatening Moonlight Shuriken throughout the game, for 3 water energy, dealing 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Greninja not only providing a bench snipe option, but also draw power, made it an auto-include in any Chien-Pao deck. Irida was also another perfect fit. The supporter card searches your deck for an item card and a water Pokemon and puts them into your hand. This is just insane, since Baxcalibur is a stage 2 Pokemon. Meaning that if you have a Frigibax in play for a full turn, you play Irida, you search the deck for a rare candy and a Baxcalibur, and you just evolve it with 1 card, completing the combo instantly. This was an instant 4 of in every Chien-Pao deck. The next few sets, however, took Chien-Pao from a decent deck, rogue at best, and turned it into a monster. Obsidian Flames didn't add too much, but Paradox Rift blessed Chien-Pao beyond belief. Counter Catcher, which didn't see play until after Cross Switcher rotated, is an item card that, when the user is behind on prize cards, switches a bench Pokemon from your opponent's bench to the active spot. Since you would need a turn to set up, this could help with taking a crucial knockout early in the game if your opponent was playing very aggressive. Earthen Vessel was made for Chien-Pao, discarding any card from your hand and then searching your deck for 2 basic energy and putting them into your hand. Finding energy was even easier now than ever before. However, the big addition from this set was Iron Hands EX. Amp you very much for 4 energy, 1 of them being a lightning and 3 being colorless, does 120 damage, and if you knock something out, you take an extra prize card. This is straight up one of the best attacks ever printed, and it fits surprisingly well into Chien-Pao. The lightning energy could be teched in and searched via Vessel, and the extra 3 colorless in the attack cost could easily be powered up by Super Cold. This actually is reminiscent of a strategy from the past, where Black Kyurem EX from the Black and White era had an attack that cost 2 water, a colorless, and a lightning energy. So what you would do is you would use other energy search like Professor's Letter to search out the lightning, attach that for turn, and then attach the rest of the waters with super cold, getting around the fact that you need to attach the lightning. With a new and improved look, Chien-Pao instantly became a top tier deck. And in some people's eyes, it was actually the best deck in the entire game. It won Dortmund Regionals shortly after Paradox Rift's release, and was consistently placing in the top cut at other tournaments the entire format. The barrel was the main draw engine, drawing until you have 5 in your hand, and consistency overall was pretty solid. With the unique versatility of taking extra prize cards and taking multiple knockouts, and OHKOing anything in sight, just making it a little bit of a nightmare to slow down. But then came rotation, and gone were some of Chien-Pao's best tools, like Cross Switcher for example. However, the next set, Temporal Forces, might have been even better to Chien-Pao than Paradox Rift had been. Cypher Maniac's Codebreaking was a new supporter card that searched your deck for any 2 cards, put them on top of your deck, and then shuffled the rest of your deck. This synergizes incredibly well with Radiant Greninja, Bibarel, and Pokestop, the main stadium played in the deck. Prime Catcher was an A-Spec card that was basically Cross Switcher, except just on 1 card as an A-Spec card, which means you can only play 1 A-Spec in your deck. This fit way too well in Chien-Pao due to the synergy with canceling Cologne to disable Manaphy's bench protecting ability, and Radiant Greninja to just blow up the bench. These new cards helped replace the old ones, and honestly made the deck even better. Chien-Pao had more great finishes, like 2nd at Indianapolis Regionals, 4th at Orlando Regionals, and 4th at Stockholm Regionals. It then top 4'd the next 2 regionals, got 3rd, 4th, and 2nd at the next 3 special events respectively, and 2 top 32s at NAIC later in the year. However, in the background of these great performances, the building blocks of a nightmare were building for Chien-Pao. Twilight Masquerade, adding Teal Mask Ogrepon EX and Dragapult EX, and Shrouded Fable adding Kyurem, took Regidrago V-Star from a bulk card to arguably the best deck in the game for the World Championships. Dusknoir from Shrouded Fable was another death knell, which found its way into Charizard decks due to its unique versatility of taking extra prize cards and boosting Charizard EX's damage output. The best deck in the game was between Charizard and Regidrago, and in that sort of meta, with neither matchup being especially good for Chien-Pao, it kind of fell by the wayside. With Dusknoirs in Charizard demolishing your board in multiple ways, and Kyurem destroying your entire setup by turn 2, you often just couldn't recover if you ever went second. Stranding you with 0 energy acceleration, or knocking out your Radiant Greninja or Bibarel, plus an Iono, could just be way too much late in the game, especially even if you got ahead. Chien-Pao couldn't hate Regidrago or Charizard being good more. The Regidrago matchup was just an entire nightmare for it, since Regidrago basically couldn't lose if they played right. This whole situation at Worlds just turned out to be a nightmare for the Ruinous Dog, and after it got its top 16, miraculously at Worlds, Chien-Pao slowly faded away. It happened rather quickly. It only had 1 more regional top 16 after Worlds, but things somehow got even worse. The next set releases of Stellar Crown and Searching Sparks only buffed Regidrago even more, which obviously didn't help Chien-Pao, but it honestly couldn't get worse with the next set. With the release of Prismatic Evolutions in January, Regidrago, Chien-Pao's worst enemy, died. It was gone. The bad news is the reason Regidrago was gone was the exact same reason Chien-Pao was about to have the nail put into its coffin. Budu. Budu is a 30 HP basic Pokemon that has the 0 energy attack Itchy Pollen, doing 10 damage and item locking the opponent. Remind me how many items Chien-Pao EX decks play? Right. Budu being popular basically guarantees Chien-Pao is gone. And until Budu becomes a victim of a successful counter, it looks like things will remain the same for a long time. There has been some experimentation with people playing Chien-Pao recently, but you just really struggle against any deck playing even a hint of Budu, and going first basically means you just lose the game. It's kind of sad that things had to turn out like this, and it makes you feel kind of bad for Chien-Pao. But who knows, maybe we'll see a day where the Sword of Ruin can once again wreak havoc on the Pokemon TCG metagame. Subscribing will be greatly appreciated. Almost none of my viewers are subscribed, and doing so is free, helps both of us out a lot. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get back to 1 upload a week. Again, the schedule is killing me, but subscribing now means you never miss another upload. Let me know what you guys think about Chien-Pao, and if you might consider playing it in the format right now. Anyways, take care, have a good one, bye.